when they said, did you want to come and work for Stabicraft, I thought they were kidding. We just like to think of ourselves as adventure engineers creating a product that people can use for whatever the type of adventure is they're looking for.
So when your boats get out into market, you can guarantee that they've effectively been battle tested?
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. I mean, we want people to adventure with confidence.
I imagine that throughout history, given economic cycles, there have been times in this company's history where that has been financially hard. Why have you been so committed to manufacturing onshore in New Zealand for such a long time?
I think for us it really comes down to the quality. I guess we've adopted a good, better, best sort of strategy across particular models. So if you take a 2050 Frontier, we'll have an adventure version, which is an entry level. We'll have a sport fish, which is kind of the middle, and then we'll have a pro fish, which has got all the bells and whistles.
What should we expect next from Staby?
Oh.
Stabicraft boats are, as the name suggests, stable, but the business is in growth mode. The boating manufacturer was founded by Paul Adams and Bruce Dickens, who built a ribbed inflatable dinghy out of aluminium in the 80s. That's how the first Stabicraft vessel, the Alley Duck, was born. Almost 40 years later, the company is a leader in the powered trailer boat market domestically.
Paul Adams, our founder, founded the business, 38 years ago now. Really saw an opportunity with, I guess, power fishermen at the beginning, ribbed boats, rocks, and there's an interesting combination there, and the whole concept went from, well, could we do something similar and turn that into an aluminium chambered boat? And that's really where things began and evolved from the early sort of duck version to where we are today.
Aaron Green has been the CEO of Stabicraft since 2023. The company just added a private equity co-owner. KiwiSaver fund Simplicity bought a 35.9% stake late last year. I caught up with Aaron ahead of this year's boat show to see its latest inventions and discuss domestic manufacturing, demand, and export opportunities.
Look, there's always been an element of alloy boats in the market. I think it's really grown significantly over a number of years as such, and we like to think that we're the original chambered boat, and there's plenty of others around now, and it's a great, safe product, and that's partly why we stand behind it as well.
Well, on safety, this is part of your proprietary IP. Your edge and advantage in the market is the life ring protection. Can you explain that design to me?
Yeah, so you've basically got a sealed chamber, which is totally sealed from water and air, and I guess for us, we talk about the ability for the boat to be punctured, but we'll remain with level flotation even if the water is inside the boat, and I mean there's some videos floating around that sort of show you that. So even with the weight on the motor of the back, normally what you get is you get a boat that would go like this, will stay flat, and it's to do with the chambers that we have. So yeah, we're pretty proud of that achievement, and what was created a number of years ago by Paul.
Paul is still involved. We know that he's a majority shareholder, but now he's doing Staby X,
Yep.
Amphibious boats.
Yes,
there's one here.
Right
it's
here.
got wheels on it.
Yeah, it has.
Can you talk to me about his involvement in the business versus kind of him continuing to innovate the product beyond what you have at the moment?
Yeah, look, Paul sits on the board of directors, but he runs Staby X. That's sort of his baby, and I guess really feeds into Paul's sort of design hunger and the desire to create some new things. I guess we've sort of created our own internal design team now. Paul's still heavily involved. When you've kind of hit the money when we have a new product roll out of the factory, he sees it and gives you the thumbs up. You kind of go, okay, we've done a pretty good job. So he's still reasonably involved, but really X is the focus for Paul now.
Does he still tick off every design?
No.
You just kind of like to get his nod of approval with it.
Well, it's
rolls
just,
out the door.
He saw something the other day and he said that looks awesome, and you kind of go, we're on the right track. But no, we run that process ourselves. Yeah.
Awesome. You recently brought in a private equity partner in Simplicity, KiwiSaver, 36% stake. What was the thesis behind that? Why did you chase some external funding? What does it allow you to do?
I guess it's partly about the evolution, and we've got big plans for North America as an example. It's a big opportunity for us that we know is there. We're there today, but having another partner, another shareholder, gives us that ability to I guess move at pace in some areas as well. And look, Paul's focused on X, and Paul's going to want to try it at some point, I would imagine, and so that gives us I I guess, some opportunities in the future as well. So yeah, we're really excited to have Simplicity on board.
You were brought in, correct me if I'm wrong, 2023.
Yeah, I've been here nearly 2 years now.
Awesome. Were you a Staby customer beforehand? What was your attraction
I
and
was
link to
actually.
Staby?
I was on my third Stabicraft, so I'd had a 20...
So you were already hooked, right?
Yeah. When they said, did you want to come and work for Stabicraft, I thought they were kidding. But it's... and it was a great opportunity. I mean, I was an avid user, and for me, I wanted a product that I felt safe in with my kids, especially as we were sort of getting into fishing and adventure. And I did a lot of research, and there are a lot of options, and I ended up with a Stabicraft. Design, functionality, just the quality of the build, the safety aspect. There's a whole bunch of factors there that kind of led us down that path. So yeah, I was on to my third Stabicraft when I joined.
What do you view as kind of the biggest opportunity, the current untapped opportunity for Staby? As you mentioned, you are selling around the world. You do have ability to manufacture more in America. But what is the sort of unmet need out there at the moment?
Look, I think each market's a little different. So I think in New Zealand we're well known, well established. Australia, there's still opportunity for us for sure. But the big opportunity is really North America, and we've been putting a lot of time into that market, and there's really markets within the market. So the type of fishing is different in particular areas of the US, be it the Great Lakes versus the southern states, and the way boats are set up and configured. But the one thing you can get really good out of the US is really good data. And so we've used that data to really help us identify where the opportunities lie. And we know when we get people to visually see our product, and then when we get them on the water, they're generally converted. And so that's really exciting for us, but we are very different to what is available up there. We are very new. It's not unusual if we've got a boat in tow for people to stop us at a gas station and go, hey, what is this Stabicraft, or they call it Stabicraft thing. So yeah, that's really a big opportunity for us. And when we talk North America, it's really the US, Canada and Alaska.
Stabicraft boats vary for the environment and use case, with different designs featuring bigger centre cabins, increased visibility, more space to walk around, and hulls shaped for more aggressive adventures. These two guys are on the design team. So what design are you guys working on next?
Finish these. And the boss's boat.
You're getting a third one, Aaron, come on.
I'm just getting another one of these.
We like to call our team adventure engineers. When I was at the Warehouse Group, we used to call everybody red shirts. So for us, we're a team of adventure engineers really trying to create a bunch of great products that everybody from fishers to families can go out and create adventures, whatever that may look like for them. So we just like to think of ourselves as adventure engineers creating a product that people can use for whatever the type of adventurers they're looking for. So and some are boaties, some are not boaties. Most, if not all, are from Southland, and a lot have been in the business for a long time. It's not unusual to have, we've got a 20-year and a 30-year club, which is pretty cool as well.
What sort of adventures have you heard Stabies be used for in their history?
Oh, all sorts. Look, if you go to Alaska, people are using our boats to take the kids to school from bays, where they're using it for more of a commute, versus you've got lodges who are using them for customers to come and stay at the lodge and go fishing, to people like myself who just want to go fishing with the kids, as an example, and have some fun times on the water, to people who want to go towing skis and biscuits, as an example. So there's so many different use cases as such. And if you look at a lot of our content on the web, there's some pretty extreme activities there that people get into. We've got a bunch of ambassadors who kind of lead the way with what we do with our boats as such. So yeah, there's no end of things that people are doing with them.
Mentioning some of those adventures, I want to know more about how your boats are tested. Say you have a new design, a new boat that you're coming out with. Historically, they were all tested in the roaring 40s, like the most rugged, aggressive environment in the sea off the coast of the South Island. Do you still test every single new design in the roaring 40s?
Absolutely.
You throw them out in there and just go, handle
it's not quite throw them out, but yes, we certainly do. And I mean, the 2350s is an example that we've got here in the 2050 Frontier, which are the new boats we've launched. Absolutely, they've been tested out there, and we tend to test them not in flat water, which you can do in most places. The real test for us is really testing it in the extreme conditions, and so yeah, we do, and I don't ever see that changing, to be honest.
So when your boats get out into market, you can guarantee that they've effectively been battle tested.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. I mean, we want people to adventure with confidence. I mean, that's part of our tagline. and to feel safe out there. And know that we've done the testing, we've done the groundwork, and we're really comfortable. And as I say, that's part of the reason why I chose Stabicraft before I joined.
Stabi began exporting its product out of New Zealand early on, with boats being sent to British Columbia in 1988, just 1 year after the company started. The UK, USA and Australia soon followed. The company set up manufacturing in the US, but has since wound it back, focusing instead on sales in the North American region. But it's still making its boats in New Zealand's South Island. I want to talk more about manufacturing. You've been manufacturing these boats, you tell me, by hand in the South Island for the entire almost 40 years of this company. I imagine that throughout history, given economic cycles, there have been times in this company's history where that has been financially hard, perhaps even difficult to find the people to help make them. Why have you been so committed to manufacturing onshore in New Zealand for such a long time?
I think for us it really comes down to the quality, and we have a real desire to really continue to challenge ourselves to drive the quality up over and over again. And look, we've got a significantly skilled workforce of welders and fabricators in Invercargill. Sure, we do cutting and pressing using some machinery, but all the welds are done by hand. And we're really proud of that. And certainly when you start talking to customers and you start talking to new dealers and they look at the quality of weld, it's generally the first thing that people go to. And so when we just believe that's a real point of difference for us. And as such, we're a big part of the Southland community, continue to be, and we see that continuing. So,
has that capped your capacity?
Oh, look, we can. Not at the moment, but and we have options to do other things. We can work with outsourced partners, but we run the process. We can set up other sites in time as well. So no, we've done that through the COVID period where volumes really went through the roof as such. So we have a really good apprentice program as well to bring new apprentices through our business as well, so they kind of learn the Stabi way as such. So no, we don't see it as a constraint.
The only figures I could find on the number of boats that Stabicraft can build a year was 500 in the early 2000s, and then in 2005 that doubled to 1,000. Can you tell me how many boats you can build per year now?
Oh, look, we can build more than 1,000 for sure, and as I say, we have the option to be able to expand as such. As sort of demand in all the markets sort of recovers.
Recovers? How is it looking now?
Oh, look, New Zealand's been a little tough. I think we all know that, I'm not sure boats have been on the top of people's list. I mean, we're really excited about the boat show. It's an opportunity for us to showcase some new things. So Australia's been not too bad, and North America for us really has been about the growth of new dealers as such. And again, there's a bit of a hangover of stock from COVID across North America, but that's sort of flushed through now as such. So yeah, I think that we've seen more recovery this year than last year, and we're excited to see where we get to through the show here and then moving into next year.
If the hope is that demand recovers to maybe one day back to those COVID hype, every lab wanted the boat type levels,
yeah.
To meet that volume, I imagine that you would need some level of standardization in your manufacturing supply chain,
yeah.
Similar to what Elon Musk has done with Teslas and productionize those, or with SpaceX and Rocket Lab with rockets. Do you see Stabi ever going down that manufacturing?
We kind of already do. So I guess we've adopted a good, better, best sort of strategy across particular models. So if you take a 2050 Frontier, we'll have an adventure version, which is an entry level. We'll have a sport fish, which is kind of the middle, and then we'll have a pro fish, which has got all the bells and whistles as such. And the platform that it's built on is the same platform on a 2050 Frontier as it is on a 2050 Trekker, as it is on a 2050 Super Cab. So we've worked through that over the last few years, and so that does give us the ability now to really scale up, because what we've done is more scalable as such over time. And so we've really been working through that with all of our models now. So most now will have a good, better, best piece, same hull for the same size boat, but it might be a different configuration.
The Super Cab.
Yep. So the Super Cab we launched last year.
Okay.
Actually, we launched it here last year.
And how's it been selling since?
Oh, Super Cab's been amazing. Huge amount of feedback. As I said, we reboot the hull from bottom up. So it's a brand new hull. And actually now the hull is the same across all three variants. And so, yeah, since we launched this boat at Hutch Walco last year, we've had really, really good demand across all markets for it. I've been away to the Barrier in one with one of our dealers for New Year's.
That can be a treacherous trip too.
Yeah, it was pretty rough coming back actually. We were taking quite a lot of water over the top, but at no point did you feel unsafe as such. So yeah, it wasn't the nicest over that New Year period, but yeah, a great overnighter because you've got the bigger cabin with a V berth, and you can also have an option of doors, and also there's a sort of a bedding berth option at the back as well for sleeping. So sleeping sort of 3 or 4 people is relatively easy.
Oh wow!
And then obviously you've also got there's a toilet option internal as well. So that's a real good overnight boat.
How are you finding the secondary market? Because Facebook Marketplace is just rife with boats. Is that impacting your business, or is it helping in a roundabout way because it's getting more people into Stabies at even a lower price that you couldn't offer?
Well, yeah, Stabicrafts tend to hold their value pretty well.
Interesting.
In the marketplace, and I think that's one of the appealing factors of the boat as well.
One thing that may be worth worrying about is counterfeit boats.
Look, there's Chinese copies out there of lots of different boats as such. So, yeah, and that's an interesting. I've actually been asked that a couple of times more recently. You know, again, we've tried to focus more on what's the next evolution of a Stabicraft, and in some ways, it's you know, it's very humbling that people want to copy what we do.
Also frustrating, I imagine.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's not a huge thing, and we like to think that the product ultimately speaks for itself. So we've tended to focus a little bit more on, you know, what's the next. If Paul was here, that's what Paul would say. What's the next evolution? Where are we going next? What does the next Stabicraft look like?
When do you think we'll see fully electric, autonomous boats?
Oh, I don't know. Look, I think the challenge you have there is with electric versus the traditional outboard motors is, you know, you need a reasonable battery capacity to go anywhere. And I know that's getting better and better, and you know we're always looking at that kind of stuff too. But the offset of that is the weight, and so then your capacity to carry passengers, etc. So I think there's a little while to go before that becomes something that's really sustainable in a way, both from a price perspective, but also, I guess, the ability to actually offset some of the weight too. So,
is that anything that your team's looking at in a design process?
We're always looking at lots of things. So,
what should we expect next from Stabie?
Oh, look, we'll have new product coming again in the future. You know, if I had my way, we'd be spitting that out a bit more often than we do. But you know, we also want to make sure that we do that right too, as such. So, you know, we've got some other things in the wings that we'll be working on as part of our broader range, and as we get into North America more, there may be some other things that we need to look at in time as well.
Excited to see it. Thank you so much for your time.
No worries, cool. Hey.
Appreciate it.
So what are you going to use this for?
Has no one told you?
No one's told me anything.
Okay. Thanks for watching Markets with Madison. If you enjoyed this interview, please hit the like and subscribe buttons below. I do all of the research for these episodes myself, so your support means a lot. I always love to hear your feedback and ideas, so please drop any thoughts in the comments below. Now go put your money to work.